Well, the Packers fall short to NFC rival Detroit Lions 24-14. I'm Dominique Yates. I'm joined by longtime columnist Pete Dougherty. Pete, I feel like throughout this entire season we've talked about the mistakes that the Packers have made in ball games with penalties and so much more drop passes. But I feel like finally stepping up against a really good opponent, a lot of those mistakes became even bigger. Just, what were your takeaways from this?
They did. Really came home to roost today. And, and I'm sure many people were thinking this, but you watch this game, you would have thought Detroit was the team that plays outdoors at home and that the Packers were playing their first outdoors game of the year instead of vice versa. The Lions just handled the elements better. I had them for 0 drops. I had the Packers for, I think, 6. Huge, including a touchdown pass. The Lions are really good. They got a lot of good players. They're disciplined. They're well coached. They've got to be the favorite in the NFC right now for sure. We're only halfway through the season. A lot of season to go. Think of last year. Packers were still struggling at this point, but the Lions did make a statement today.
When you look at Jordan Love, wasn't sure about his game status at first because he was battling the groin injury he suffered in Jacksonville. Came out here today. What were your just takeaways from his play?
He didn't move around much, so it was tough to tell whether he was. That alone suggests that he probably was struggling moving around. There was one throw where afterwards he kind of looked like he was a little ginger on his leg. It didn't look like it was horribly inhibiting, but obviously not a stellar day for him. And that interception, that pick 6, is just mind-boggling. If they're going to go anywhere, those you just can't give away points, especially against an explosive, good team like the Lions.
Now, looking on the defensive side of the ball, you talked to a few guys in the locker room, including Xavier McKinney. Just what did they say about how the defense kind of played against one of the best offenses in the NFL?
They were, and whenever they lose, it's, everybody's very down. But overall, I think he felt, and everybody on defense thought they played okay against a team. They were averaging, 40 points basically in the last month. They held them to 17. They got a touchdown against the offense, the pick 6. So I think they felt like they played okay, but they didn't turn them over, which was, if you were coming into this game, you would have thought that would have been one of the prerequisites was they got to turn over Jared Goff somehow or other, probably twice, and they got 0.
I guess just my last thing, just what do you think is like the step for the Packers heading into the bye week and then coming out of it?
Yeah, the big thing is they got to make sure they get their quarterback as healthy as they can. And it's, they get a week off to decompress. And, by Wednesday, or Tuesday even, guys will have forgotten about this. And a lot of them will go back to wherever they live in the off season and spend a few days. But, they have they have high aspirations. They should be a Super Bowl contender. They did not look like one today, and so they've got some important work to do, especially for cutting down on the penalties. And asked multiple guys about it, and they say lock in, and I'm not sure what that means because these penalties are killing them. They had 10, the Lions had 5. Kills drives. It was a huge problem down by the goal line. It sure looked like the Lions were just trying to see if they could draw them off sides. They did. Now they only had a fourth and 3 instead of 4th and 5. Those are killers. But yeah, they've got obviously plenty of work to do. But just think how long it seems like they've already been playing football. They basically have that much still to go. So a lot of season.
Yeah, so now the Packers head into the bye week, have plenty to work on. And once again, the Detroit Lions showed that they are one of the best teams in the NFL, coming to Lambeau Field, winning over Green Bay 24-14. For Pete Dougherty, I'm Dominique Yates.